How's everybody doing?
We doing good, Ark. We doing good.
G Money, you see that?
Hey, I said in the playback the other day that I said I could see us going 1-1 or 2-0. No way we were going 0-2, and this team just went 2-0 with another 15-point win. Man, Draymond held Zion three for what 8 or whatever he ended with. It was horrible. Draymond is playing like a DPOY to start off the year, man.
Hear me out. That man just shot 5 of 20, 12 points.
Oh my god.
5 for 20, 12. Like he had he had him in absolute jail. Like every angle that Zion was taking, Draymond cut off the angle. Like I think he drew like 2 charges on him tonight.
Bro, it was a freaking
Two true charges and like
masterclass.
poked the ball away from him like five or so times, dude.
Bro, it
Like it
was
was
wild.
pretty funny actually.
It was wild what he did to him tonight, man. Absolutely crazy. When I tell you he had him in jail tonight, he had him in absolute jail tonight. Straight jail, locked up. Straight jail, locked up. My goodness. But one thing I gotta highlight though, y'all hearing me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got you.
Yeah,
We
go
got you.
ahead.
Dog. Um, that was that was another great defensive performance. Another great
Facts.
defensive performance. Like,
Yeah, that's facts.
so they held that team to 89 points tonight. So last night, so the others got going tonight. Alvarado, Hawkins, they got going tonight. Ingram had 14, Zion had 12, right? So last night, it's almost like Willie Green said to them, get others involved, right? And then they didn't they got others involved, but they didn't get themselves going. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when we talk about the NBA, bro, like, it is such a hard balance to strike, and that's what the great ones do. They get others involved, and they're so good that at any given time they can get their own, and that's always the balance that you strike as a great player. And I was just looking at that tonight, and you know, amazing stuff, man. Amazing stuff. How the rotations were crisp again. Um, Draymond Green had an amazing game tonight, bro. 14 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 5 blocks. When I tell you, this was like vintage 2017 Draymond.
Bro, can we talk
Only
about
played
the
30 minutes
defense?
tonight too.
Talk about the
Chef's kiss.
defense on Zion, bro. He knew
Yes, bro.
every single one of his moves, dog. Like that was a master class, bro.
Unbelievable, man.
Bro, you gotta you
Unfucking
gotta
believable.
you gotta give Draymond props too, because I think about 60% of the fan base tonight didn't think he was gonna play on a back to back, and he came out
Yeah.
on a back to back and fucking balled out tonight, man.
All right. So
Almost as if he saw what Zion did yesterday, took that shit personally.
so another thing to Rose G Money, Trace Jackson Davis. A lot of people were complaining about Trace. 20 minutes, 15 points, 7 to 9, 9 rebounds, and yet a block. He played amazing. Looney didn't play a lot of minutes tonight. So you see the route that Kerr is going. Kerr is like, whoever got it going, that's who's going to play. You know what I'm saying? So, this wasn't really a Looney game tonight. Trace had it going, so he played a bulk of the minutes. And, the only person that really played over 30 minutes was Pods. Pods played 38 minutes tonight.
Almost had a triple double.
Yeah, bro. He had 13 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Amazing night tonight, man. Amazing night tonight. So let me ask this question.
Urkel,
Go
my
ahead, bro. What's
bad.
up?
Are you monitoring that Clippers game, bro? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I need them to lose. This would make a perfect night. Everybody who was supposed to lose lost.
Yeah.
Lakers lost. Memphis lost. Um, the Celtics lost. Everyone lost who were supposed to lose. I wish OKC lost too, but
Yeah.
I'll take it, man. You can't have everything, bro. I didn't get to
I
watch
don't
the
think
full
Lakers
game,
fans are gonna care
obviously,
much
but
tonight
it
because of what
it was a
else
good
happened.
game. It was a good game too. I'm happy, man.
That that right there, this game tonight. I mean, I don't mean to front run. I don't mean to grandstand. I don't mean to do any of that, right? But I told you so. I fucking told you so. Like, this is a shit I've been saying, from like fucking July. I told you so. This shit right here is like, you see, because I lived through 2022, and not many people even believed back then, but there were some ingredients in there that I saw in 2020. We missed the plan, right? And then the second half of the year we played well. We fell short, missed the playoffs. And then I looked at the numbers, and the numbers were telling me like this is a good team. And it was a good team. And then we had some rookies out there that were really, really good. Pods was a positive all year. Trey, same shit. So the younger guys were positives. And then, you have Steph and you have Draymond. This is a championship team, ladies and gentlemen. This is a championship team. I'm telling you. This team might be better than 2022. It might be better. It might be better. Like, no lie. Like, I'm looking at a guy like,
Not might. It is. It is. It 100%
yeah,
is.
so I
From
think
the
it is, right? So,
from the
We should
from
be
the
5-0
personnel
right now,
hires to the
really.
the people just on the court, I think all around we have a better squad.
look,
Well, I mean,
so
this road trip coming up is really gonna test them, though.
We should be
Jim,
5-0 for real. Let's be honest.
I actually can we can
Really,
I don't know how to
I'll be
put
happy
stuff
with
in the
just being four
jumbotron, but
one.
if wait, how do you put stuff in the jumbotron, bro? I really want to
just click on the
put something
article.
up, bro.
If you
Click on whatever tweet you want,
just
and
look in
there
the
should be
bottom
an
right, and you'll see
option.
like an arrow, and just click on the arrow, and it'll say share posts. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
The
Yeah,
bottom right
I
in the
wanted to
tweet, and then you'll
show
see it.
one of the defensive like rotations that we had from the Pels game
Yeah.
before that I really loved.
Who was involved in it? Because I probably saw it.
It was Lindy Waters,
Yeah.
Pods, Looney,
So you're
and
talking
JK.
about when Pods X'd out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Shit like that feels so good to watch because we never had it. We just had people overhelping and then nobody making an extra move. Nobody. When people overhelp now, we found a way to overhelp and then still be fine. To still be able to like, bro. I just need to set it, man. I just need it just needs to be here, bro. Like, and then he breaks it down too, bro. Man, that shit was just good
Yeah.
looks. I'm watching this shit. I'm like, man, this team. Even if we don't win, I love watching the defense,
Yeah.
bro.
They was so synchronized tonight. I mean, it's kind of outrageous how synchronized they were. I mean, Draymond Draymond was like a conductor tonight, bro. Like the work that he was doing against Zion was absolutely outrageous tonight. Absolutely
You know
outrageous.
what? He shut me up, man. That you know the narrative of whenever Steph is not on the
Yeah.
floor, Draymond gets the ejection to just get the game over with. He played both games and he played both games well. I give it to him, bro.
Bro,
You have my vote,
he
Draymond.
seen last
You
night.
have
He
my.
said I can't let that shit happen again.
That's facts, bro. Like I remember complaining about that, especially a lot last year. Like
Yeah.
this dude, he showed up this tonight, bro. God damn, that's crazy.
You know what? Honestly, yeah, it's not a lot of games, but I honestly think he's been more calm when he's speaking to the rest and whatnot, even if he doesn't agree with
Hmm.
something. And I also love the fact that Steve Kerr kind of has he believes in him to the point where whenever he calls for a challenge, Steve Curry does it without a second thought. And we've won all of those, by the way. All the Draymond challenges, we've won every one of them,
well,
by the
except the
way. So
last one. That one he actually got lost. But speaking of that,
yeah, but
though, that whoever made that fucking challenge photo of Draymond just waving the fucking finger, that has to be one of the greatest
I
pictures
love it,
It
I've
bro.
seen
is, bro.
ever.
It's hilarious.
I love it. Yeah.
Let's talk about how
Go ahead.
we finally getting a fucking tiebreaker on people because we had none last year, bruh. This
I
shit is
just, I
gonna
just,
help us down the line, bruh.
I just have a quick
I
question.
don't.
I just have a really quick question I just wanted to ask. You got this, I think this was like the first baseball series that we probably played since like 2021. And I just want somebody to like clarify, is this the first time that we've won both games back to back with the same team?
It might be.
Didn't we play
Like,
one last year with the Nuggets or something?
I don't
Or no, it
remember.
was
I
the
don't think
no,
it.
it was the Timberwolves. Last year it was the Timberwolves.
Did we win
That one
both of
was a
those?
Yeah.
baseball series.
I
No,
don't think
no,
no,
we
we
Nah, we
lost
didn't.
lost
both.
both. We lost both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did.
but you asked like, is this like the first baseball series or whatever, right?
No, no, no. I
No,
asked if
no.
this is the
This
He
first
is
said
time
we
that
first
we've
won.
one we
We
won
won.
won. Yeah.
both of them. Because I remember in 2021 we played a lot of those and we went like 1-1 or 0-2.
Yeah, there
So
were a lot of those because it was obviously the COVID shortened year, so they had to like squeeze a lot of games to
yeah.
like lessen travel time.
Yeah, to be able to do this without our best player on the floor for both of these games, I think it's a big testament to the coaching staff and the players as well. I think this is a good sign, man. This is a very big dub, bro. Draymond, bro, the defense that he played tonight, bro. I need somebody to make a video of the defense that Draymond played tonight. Urkel,
Bro,
like you said, this was literally prime vintage Draymond, bro.
He had Zion wanted to quit the game, bro.
he
Like he
was
kept shaking
pulling
his
the
head no.
Bro,
chair, bro. He was pulling the
like I
chair
don't
like he
think
knew
people
everything.
understand. Yo, this is crazy. But yeah, that's all I
He
have to
had
say,
a
man.
generational talent
But
to
here's the thing, though. Yes,
his worst game ever.
Draymond was absolutely insane tonight. But it also shows how linear Zion's game is, even after all this time. Like you guys watch him, like he's actually just really fucking predictable, which is
Yeah,
honestly
his
kind of a shame
It
the
really
that
thing
he's
is
been
with
though. It's
this
him
like
long
is
in the
just
league.
that
he either gets his left hand or he's gonna find a way to shoot with his left hand. And that's it.
I
the
mean,
thing is
I think
he hunts with
think
his
most
strength a
defenders
lot.
see it. I think most defenders see it. It's just that Zion is such a big dude that even if you see it, unless you're generation like
Hey, Irk, this
or Drake,
counts as we're doing Laker therapy right now too, right?
I don't think the
Please don't break
Lakers fans
my
will care much
nah,
tonight,
soul. Please
based on
don't
what
break
else
my.
happened. I won't mention it, but they already know.
not even
So
worried
so
about.
what's y'all predictions on this 5 game road trip? What y'all think we go?
Depends if Steph's back.
I
Uh,
think he's probably coming back the Wizards game,
Yo,
most
Prime,
likely.
no,
Prime.
Yeah,
like
I
this.
told Laker fans, right, how trash their defense was,
yeah.
and they didn't believe. Like, bro, you saw what Cleveland did against them tonight?
Just
Bro, did
dog
you see
walked
the
him.
Bro, they
free throw
can't even
differential,
guard ball.
bro?
Shout out
Bro,
to
that shit,
Kenny
Bro,
Atkinson,
that shit is
man.
disgusting. They were down 20 and they
bro,
had
did
20 more free throws than the
yeah? I was
Cavs.
just
That
gonna
shit's
say he had
disgusting.
20 more free throws.
That is
And
disgusting,
But the
bro.
Lakers are playing good teams, guys. The Lakers are playing good
uh,
teams.
Yeah, and now you got your ass waxed by a
Fuck
good
out of
team.
here, bro.
Congratulations.
no, you know what? It feels good that I can watch because I didn't really watch the game tonight. I kind of watch box score clips and whatnot. I can watch my team be up 20 and not have to worry about. I turn back on after I take another break and it's like, where is a 5 point game? We're only up by five. Every time I looked, it was
Hey,
15.
Steph
It
has
was
that win streak.
Exactly.
it was 50.
Hey, Steph has that win streak versus the Rockets though. That'll suck if he can't play Saturday.
I mean, he gets reevaluated on Friday, so
Nah,
Well, I
bro.
guess
Oh,
I
that
hell
don't
it
no.
care.
Nah,
doesn't.
Well,
force it,
that
bro.
streak
It,
only
I don't
only
care.
applies if he actually plays, though.
yeah,
So
you're
if
right.
he
You're
doesn't
right.
play, then we really
And
don't give a
true.
fuck.
I don't.
You're
There
right.
is a
Dude,
it
good
won't
chance.
count, Prime. It won't
There's a
count.
good chance
True.
that he
and
plays
even
though.
if it did, I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. Those things are fucking petty in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
I'm not giving up his health because I want him to
yeah,
beat the
yeah,
No, I
Rockets.
know. I was just saying
Hey
though.
John, I'm praying that my
Stone
dad
that
comes back versus the Wizards, man.
we've already set in
I
stone
hope
that
he's there too.
Yeah, I
we're
would
about
think
that.
Steph wants to
Bro,
get a
too many
game before the
dignitaries will be
Boston.
out there waiting for Steph Curry. He has no choice. If he's healthy, he has to play.
Nah, man. He
Nobody buys
can
their tickets 10 days
be.
before the game, NTD.
I think
Yo, man, this is once in a
I need
lifetime, man.
those
Once a year,
Boston.
man, the dude come in town, bro. Telling you, man. And the tickets are hard
Bro,
to find, bro.
Not
I don't
really.
know,
Come
man.
on, dog. No, it's not.
I
This
mean,
road trip is about to be
there is a
crazy.
It's the
good chance.
Wizards,
The
bro.
Prime is right that he might play against the Wizards game, only
Nah, man.
because
No,
like
That's crazy.
I agree with
that's
Hey,
you.
I
That's
actually
said the
the
very
game
fair.
right
dignitaries are
before
here
election
waiting on
night.
him. The dignitaries are
hey,
That
here
game is
NT,
waiting on
before
him, bro.
election day, so yeah. He might
APB.
actually actually.
Just let him come back against Boston and
No,
OKC.
I want him to get a game
So
in before
honestly, yeah, I was gonna say
Boston.
I'd rather him get a game in first
I
so he
need
can
them
get.
two wins. Like I need to breathe, bro. I need Boston,
We
and I
need to
need
win both
OKC
those. We
Bro,
gone.
I
need to
either
beat
want a
Houston and Washington
Yes,
Boston.
because we
I
got
need the
Oh,
Boston
for
and
yo, I'm
Boston.
not gonna
Cleveland.
lie to you, bro. I think
I
OKC.
need them to shut the fuck up about this. Oh, Steve Kerr didn't play Jason Tatum. All this bullshit that
No, that's not what I'm worried about.
these fucking
I want
narratives.
I'm
people
not gonna lie to you.
because right now we're still on the narrative of these are bad teams and anybody could beat them. I want
Hmm.
this is a super team narrative. That's the
Exactly.
narrative.
I mean,
But
and your
okay,
first mistake was listening to these garbage ass narratives. Anyways, they should mean nothing to you.
Man,
bro, I'm not.
it just sucks to get up and turn on Sports Center, ESPN, and they got
And they say you
dumbass
sound,
fucking shit. Even TNT, like that's my favorite fucking
bro. I was gonna,
halftime
Bro, I
bro.
show.
can't even watch
After, bro,
Like,
ESPN
bro,
after,
Chuck,
anymore.
bro,
To be
like,
after
honest
bro,
we
with you.
like
won,
Chuck get
bro,
on my
after we
nerve. Like,
won
I don't
last
know
night,
what the
bro.
fuck is wrong with dude, but he like
Yeah.
literally get on my fucking nerves. Anytime you talk about the words, is oh they're done, they're this, and even when we win, he always find an excuse
Hmm.
of
He
why
talk
we
about
didn't
Hold up.
Charles.
Who you
fucking
talking about? Who you
win.
talking
He
Who
about?
talk
you
about
talking
Charles. He talk
about?
about Charles. He talking about
I'm
Charles
talking
Barkley.
about just people like all the fucking naysayers and
And
shit,
guess
You
what?
you
especially
talking
And
about
guess
the
motherfucking
what?
media
Chuck.
in general?
He's
We've
talking
won
about,
so
bro.
And
much
guess
in
I
what?
know
In
exactly who he's
2021,
talking,
they
I don't
bro.
said
want
he
to see us
wasn't
win
gonna win
again.
nothing.
I know who exactly he's talking. He's talking about Charles
I'm
Yeah,
talking
Barkley
about
because that
exactly.
Chuck
nigga
right
is a
now.
2021, they said
hater,
we
bro.
I'm
won.
That
talking
We
about
nigga
win
is a
Chuck
again. We won
Hold
right
up.
again.
Hold
now.
up. Hold up. Y'all are talking over each other like crazy. Forever to what who are you talking about exactly? I'm curious.
Chuck.
Like Barkley?
Why
He's
do you
always
why
been
do
a
you care
hater.
what he says?
Come on, bro. We can't
Bruh.
care what Charles Barkley thinks. Like,
Come on,
Not
seriously.
bro.
even not. It's not that I
He's
give.
been hating
It's
on the
not that I
Warriors since
care
the
so
fucking
much,
We
bro.
Believe
It's
days. Like, what
Yeah.
I'm
did we
tired
do
of
in here?
fucking hearing, dude. Like, bro, you get on there, you watch your team, you just want to hear like a good like feedback about your team, like with even the bad feedback. You just want to hear
You
like
want
some
to hear feedback? No, if
talk
you
some
want to hear
good shit
feedback,
about
you
them.
come here, bro. Don't go to them places, dog. Like,
Real quick, Eric. Real quick, Eric. Before it's a basketball
yeah.
because I was watching it last night because I just had the TV on and I was playing some Call of Duty. Bro,
Uh-huh.
everybody, Shaq, Ernie, and Kenny, they were all giving like praise to the Warriors for coming back. They had good team, like they played really well without Steph and Wiggins. And all you hear is Chuck is a man. The Warriors, that was embarrassing. I mean, the Pelicans, that's embarrassing, bro. They should not be losing that game. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, dude?
No, because he doesn't understand and he's not watching. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
So,
bro. He doesn't.
No,
He
no, no.
That's
just
what
It's
I
wants to
it's not
hate.
even
mean.
He
That's
that.
just
what
wants
I'm
to
Eric,
hate,
saying.
Eric,
bro.
That's
Eric.
exactly what I
The
mean.
last few years when we against the Kings, he was like,
you
"Yo,
know what it is,
they're
bro?
gonna beat them. They're gonna do this." I'm
Bro,
like,
Like,
Eric,
bro,
Eric,
like,
get the
trust
fuck
me.
out of here.
Best believe he understands. It's just they do it
no,
for
he doesn't
clicks.
understand. No, 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 no.
He
They
just don't like
they
us,
don't
bro. He don't like us,
understand. I'm
dude.
telling you. None of them understand because the way that they're winning now, like,
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you what basketball is now. This is what basketball is. Basketball is a bunch of teams pushing the tempo. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of teams just pushing the tempo, pushing the tempo, pushing the tempo, right? And they're putting up these crazy offensive numbers, right? So you see when you get a little physical, you play half court, and you ask them to run decent offense, they can't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the way that they get their offense is drive and kick, rotate, right? So when you cut that stuff off and you got to counter for it defensively, then it throws a monkey wrench in all of that shit, right? Like even Boston, as good as Boston is, I've seen teams throw a monkey wrench in. Now the problem with Boston is that everyone is trying to do what Boston does, right? So Boston just does the shit better. And
Yeah.
they play some defense. You know what I'm saying? So, when that nets out, they're going to be the better team.
Yeah, we talked
Boston should
about
have
this.
had the more talented team, I guess, in in 22, but we literally could play that half court basketball. We have a great player that didn't
Yeah.
show. And even when he didn't shoot well, he still creates stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you look at a
Mm-hmm.
night like tonight, and this is what's going to make this team deadly. I'm watching Buddy Hield tonight, and the way that he's getting his buckets and the way that he's creating, right? So there's some creation stuff that he's doing off the ball, right? And I'm not even going to talk
Yeah.
about his on ball creation. I'm just going to talk about his off ball creation. You see when he moves around, and people
Yeah,
jump at him, then
yeah,
he
draws
just,
attention.
bro, he's throwing that little lob pass, and then
Hmm.
all of
So
a
you're
sudden,
saying he has gravities? What you're saying?
kinda. So now he has an advantage type of situation, right?
Yeah.
Hold up, the Blazers beat the Clippers. Oh, okay.
Did they? No way.
Isn't
Oh,
that
nice,
interesting?
Fuck them niggas.
nice, 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 nice,
NBA
nice.
is
That's
funny,
My
lovely.
man.
Bro, they
my
actually
God is
lost to the
good,
Blazers.
Uncle.
That's
My God is
hilarious.
good,
Interesting
man.
how that
You
works.
don't no.
I
Hey,
was
You
told the
Blazers
don't
are
Blazers are
ass
know
though,
what
trash.
right?
this means to me. You don't know what this means to me. A team that we
Anthony Simons actually went completely berserk that game, so there you go.
he's not doing that to Wiggins though. He's not doing that
Another
to
guard,
Multimer.
another guard that the
So
Warriors clamped up. By the way,
For the NBA
we
numbers,
beat them by
Denver
40.
beat
So
Denver beat I mean Clippers beat Denver and us, and then they lose to the Blazers.
I'm telling you, the
Welcome to the
Blazers are a
NBA.
competitive team.
we're not cutting no
No, let me
rookie
tell you,
That
games,
that's a
and
team
also
they
Denver
focus on
looks ass.
defense. So
Blazers are a good team, man. Like you can
They
laugh at them
young.
all you want, but
They young.
they were like really clamping up. You know what I'm saying? Like if you watch them, they're not a bad defensive team. So they're what now, 2-3. Here's some other 2-3 teams.
That's not bad.
Memphis. Yeah, bro. Like there's a you don't understand, man. Like there's a
For everybody,
lot of
it's
bad
it's
teams here, man.
everybody in the
Well,
West is
Bro, I'm
capable
not
of
gonna lie.
beating each.
People are talking about Memphis going being a championship contender. I mean, I don't see it, man. Ja doesn't look the same. It's just I don't know, bro. I'm watching them. I just don't see it. I don't know.
here's
are we
the
done
thing
talking
though.
about?
It's
You know this team, they've solved the league defensively. Y'all know that, right? Defensively, they solved it. Like if you watch on how they're guarding the pick and roll, how they're guarding these advantages, right? Bro, it's spectacular. And the communication is just beyond excellent. We're gonna break it down when I get back on playback in the morning, and I'm gonna show y'all like just some of the things that they're doing defensively. It is absolutely stellar. And when you watch them hold they didn't even shoot the ball well tonight. And you saw how they just absolutely locked down tonight. Absolutely just shut water off. It was spectacular. Matter of fact, the last two games, that's what they did. And how much did they win
Circle.
the game by? Like
They won by
15?
it was pretty
15.
much another blowout.
15 and 8.
Oh
Another
my
15
God.
pointer.
Wasn't always
Supposedly,
an easy game though.
Jim, what'd you feel about the game tonight?
It was actually, there were many segments where I was a little ticked. I didn't understand what the rotations were. I didn't understand why they were putting out some of these combinations, and I feel like that's going to continue to be a theme for the early part of the season. Obviously, and I don't remember who said it last night, but somebody was saying that like, oh, Draymond will probably rest tonight. Imagine if he rested. It would have been a completely different game, a completely different situation, a
Yeah.
completely different type of defense. So I don't understand this need to baby play. The season just started. They're into game 5, and we're talking about rest days. Like, we
Jim,
don't
he
need
didn't
this,
even play that many
especially
minutes. He only played 30 minutes tonight.
especially on a night when the Warriors are still missing 3 starters. Granted, the Pelicans are also missing. The way I saw it going into this game, I'm like, the Warriors have a better team because they have a better structure defensively. The other team has scorers, a couple of really good scorers, but to be fair to them, their defense was better than expected tonight, especially in that second quarter. I think the Warriors were held to 20 points in the second quarter. So, that doesn't happen if they don't play better defense, right? So that was a little bit unexpected, to be honest. But Draymond holding Zion to what he did, 5 of 20 shooting, that's generational stuff, man. So when he needs to clamp down, when he needs to focus, and when he wants to, really hone in on stopping somebody, well, look at what he's capable of. So this is an incredible game for 5 blocks tonight. Oh my goodness, right? 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. This is why I want him to launch when he's wide open, because he's capable of making threes like this. He shot almost 40%. I don't think that he needs to be shooting 1 or 2 threes per game if he's capable of shooting close to 40% from the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't need to be overly passive. When they leave you wide open, launch it with confidence. And this is what he can do. And look at like how good the team feels when he does that as well. So obviously, Draymond was the player of the game. What I didn't understand in the first half was, they came out and Trace had a really good start to this game. And he didn't, like, after that first stint in the first quarter, he never came back in the first half. And I just didn't understand that, because their defense, it just it looked like a mess. With some of these lineups that they were playing, like sometimes they had a lineup where Moody was the main scorer and there was no other scorer basically, and
Yeah.
it's like, what is this lineup?
Yeah.
And then there were other lineups where it's just like, I don't want to see Kaminga at the four. I don't, some people are arguing like, oh, like the Pelicans are, going smaller, and it's just like the Warriors don't need to cater to how the other teams play. They need to play their style of play and force the other teams to make adjustments. So, there's some question marks that when a player plays well, you should reward him instead of just sitting him for the rest of the half. And so I don't know. At the end of the day, Trace came out in the third quarter, and him and Draymond, that combination, they just, they went on a tear. They went on a personal, like, defensive, offensive tear with those two guys, and that's where the game, they created massive separation. At some point, it was a 17-point, lead, and going into the second half, it was only a 4-point lead, right? So that was good to see. So other than some of those combination things aside, and the fact that they were playing this type of team, like I could kind of let it slide, especially when the Warriors have a lead like this. But I like Kuminga at the three, man. Like, he did some really good things tonight off the bench. I feel like his role off the bench is much better than in the starting lineup, because he's one of the primary options when he's with the bench unit, as opposed to with the starting unit, where he's sporadically used. He's oftentimes in the corner, right? They're not thriving defensively. Like, it's just not a great it's not a great mix. So I liked a lot of the things that he did tonight. I just didn't love some of these possessions where, he's at the four, he has to grab this rebound, he can't get there. He's strangely not a good rebounder. You need a rebound in crunch time, and he's at the four. eh, You can't really rely on it. That's why I want him at the three, so you can maximize the things that he can do without overly asking him to also go and grab all the rebounds. Maybe that's just not fair to him, right? So, but in tonight's case, it was okay. Like I said, because they had a bigger lead, and they had the cushion. Even with the refs calling some bogus stuff, right? It didn't matter because the Warriors had a large lead. So the fact that they can do this, it's like, as long as their defense is intact, they have so many guys that are capable of scoring. Once again tonight, 5 guys in double figures. Urkel, your favorite stat, right? When a lot of guys are scoring and in double digits, and it's balanced out and stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and they can do that when their defense is intact, and they can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stops in a row.
Hmm.
That's how you create that separation, and then anybody can score out in transition, get easy buckets, easy dunks. The other team is, they're frustrated, they can't score a bucket, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes it harder for them to play defense too in that scenario. That's what happened with the Warriors the last season when they couldn't defend. Things got frustrated no matter how much, you know what I'm saying? Um, so their defense is really set up for just amazing success this season. You look at for the first 5 games, you look at all the stats, of the Warriors, and they're just top 5 everything, right? This is beautiful.
Yeah. So, Jim, I don't know how
Yeah.
you felt in 22, but are you starting to feel the same kind of vibes? Right now, we're 4-1.
I mean, I've been feeling, I wouldn't call for 60 wins if I didn't feel that, right? So, um, it, especially defensively, this is going exactly kind of how I saw it. Offensively, they've surprised me because I was being very conservative. I thought I put them like top 10 offense, and that was just off. They have too many great shooters. They have too much balance in the pieces that they have for them to be, you know, um, eh, like, they could very well finish top 5 offensively this season, right?
I am
I have a
surprised.
question for the. My
So
bad.
I'm surprised on how good they are offensively. The defense doesn't surprise me. Offensively, I'm surprised, but as I'm watching, I'm not surprised because
Because, well, here's the thing, right? It's like every other acquisition we've made throughout time have always outperformed what the expectations were. So, like Otto, did anyone think Otto would be what he was? Not at
No.
first, right? Did anyone think that Dante would turn into like not really? Like you just go through most of the major acquisitions, and you never really thought that they would be. So now when you see a Kyle Anderson, who we all knew at the time, not now, not Monday morning quarterbacking, we knew in the moment we signed Kyle Anderson. what he would be with us, how he would fit, what he would look like, and the complementary piece that he'd be. In addition to a Buddy Hield, right, who can shoot, move off the ball, cut, flare, set screens, come off of pin downs, fits right into the system, and and then obviously De'Anthony Melton. You see all these things, and you're like, well, I mean, if you apply what we know historically with the Warriors, that these guys outperform their contracts, they outperform their expectations, then logic would tell you that this is no different, and in fact, it would outperform it even more because let's just be real here. These are three like quality high level role players. We're talking about guys who can start on some teams. Like has started before. Buddy Hield has started before. These are guys that have started and they're coming off the bench in a lot of cases. So when you factor all that in, it's like it kind of makes sense. And this is why I was saying in the summer, I felt like the spacing and the offensive and scoring issues were kind of overblown. Yeah, I mean
This nigga up was up with Tron.
we don't have like a stretch 4, stretch 5, sure. But we have virtually everything else. We have a scoring guard and we have a scoring front court player, multiple scoring front court players, J.K. and Wiggins. So, and then from there, you can just branch out. You got, Buddy, Melton, Pods, Moody. Like, just think about the depth that we have. The reason the Pels were really not competitive in the last two games against us is because they're really top heavy. And sure, when they're healthy and when they're intact and and whole, they're a really good team. But, in terms of depth, we just completely wiped the floor with them. And by the way, we're missing our guys too. We were missing Steph and Wiggins for both games. So, I feel really good about where we're at. I think
And
this
Melton.
and Melton, bro. Think about this. We just held the Pelicans again. You want to say they're missing Dejounte and um, who else? They're missing Herb Jones, right? These guys. Okay, bro. We held them under 90 points. We held them under 90 points
Without our two best defenders.
without our two best point of
Well,
attack.
not including Draymond. Yeah.
And without our two best point of attack on the perimeter, Wiggins
Yeah.
and Melton. And let me also add this. We've held two teams under 90 points this year. We've held two teams that we've played under 90 points, the Jazz and the Pels. Has any other team done that under 90 points? Twice.
I don't think so.
That's something, man. I don't care if you're playing the worst team in the league. Under 90 points, under 100 points is a very good defensive game.
Yeah.
Under
especially in
90?
this year's NBA, in this environment, where you could just score
Yeah, bro.
110 in your sleep.
This is a special defensive team, man. The numbers show it.
Yeah.
The eye test shows it. We are a very good team. There's no question.
In
Yeah,
playback, I was
elite
saying,
team. Elite
I
team.
was, I was saying this all summer, man. I was saying, like, how many times have I gotten into playback and I broke down like the last 43 games? I probably did it a million times. And I was saying that they were seventh on defense. And I was looking at the defensive players on the court last season. They were seventh once Draymond got back. And I was looking at the guys and I was like, I think we're going to have a good defensive team. And, traditionally, this is what's happened, since 2015. Whenever Draymond is on the court, they're a top 10 defense. And, like people don't understand why or what he does on defense. But let me just sum up what he does on defense. He does everything on defense. He protects the rim. He's probably the best help side defender ever. Let me say that again. He's probably the best help side defender ever. When you talk about guarding the pick and roll, he is probably the best center at guarding the pick and roll, right? When you talk about switching out, he switches out probably the best for a center slash power forward, right? So when you have that level of versatility on defense, and then, especially in this era when everything is played on the perimeter and it's about pick and roll and all of that, and he's back there and he's manning the defense and he's breaking up plays before they materialize. That's why they're getting a lot of these stops, right? So you saw how Zion was trying them. Yo, if you go and look on Zion's basketball reference thing, right? Like he's averaging like 23 points for his career on godly efficiency, right? So when and the reason he's doing that is because he lives around the basket and he's a bully and he just bullies people around the rim. Draymond Green cut everything off tonight. Literally everything off. And you could tell that he just knew every move that Zion was going to make, and he just cut everything off. Bro, 5 for 20 for Zion. Zion is one of the most efficient scorers in the league around the rim. And,
Trey
you
held
know,
him to his lowest field goal percentage in his career.
that's insane, bro. That's insane. So,
Can we talk about how do we feel? Okay, I want to ask, how do we feel about JK keeping up his defensive effort like this, but his scoring dropping to like 17 points per game?
Bro,
Dropping.
I mean, if you're scoring
How is that a
17
drop?
points off the bench,
Well,
like you probably should have a good like run for like one of the best bench players in the league. Like
By
no
the way,
cap.
the thing about
no, I
the
mean
thing
like
about
even
taking
besides him being on the bench, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the biggest key for them to be the most successful is to be connected for as long as humanly possible defensively. As long as they're doing that, they will plow through just about every team. You know, right now, the only team that has a better defensive rating than the Warriors is OKC. And Draymond, obviously, everything Urkel said about Draymond is accurate. It's just that he can't do it by himself. You just have to make sure that the pieces around him are the conditions are right and the pieces fit and they can do their jobs next to him. As long as he has that, as long as he has proper help, that's where the magic can happen. That's been the problem over the last 2 years, that they haven't been able to put a guy next to him that could reliably close games and stuff like this. Anthony Lamb, for crying out loud, right? So this is where they fix these things up. And again tonight, Slow Mo had a great game, off the bench, and he shot better tonight, and he was just effective on both ends of the floor. And this is the kind of piece that we've been pining. I've been pining for a backup, legitimate power forward, a guy who can actually play that position very capably. And when you continue to connect it like that from the starting unit to the bench, like this is where when you have these kinds of Gary Payton, Melton, Wiggins, Trace, Loon, like you got all these kinds of Kyle Anderson. How many defensive pieces that I just name? That's so much defense. So as long as they have this, and as long as Steph Curry is still good, yes, they are title contenders this season. Now, is there a way to make the situation even more imposing? Yeah, I don't know if the team will actually do it because of vibes and everybody's contributing to this situation. Everything is just looking great, and when it's like that, the team has a tendency to kind of leave it alone. So, but this will get complicated if you keep it as is, and then you go to the playoffs. That's where, and we saw, we didn't talk about this tonight, but we saw Lindy Waters in the starting lineup, right? He played 30 minutes and, not a good shooting night, but he kept the team connected clearly, because if there's one hole in your defense, believe me, they wouldn't be able to do what they did tonight. So, at the end of the day, he's a plus 13. So I still wonder, if they would be interested in trying him with the starting lineup when guys come back. I don't know what you guys think of that. In terms of if you notice anything in terms of his defense, if there was something lacking, if there's anything that he didn't do well, where you're just like, that wasn't good enough, something along. Obviously, I would like to see him be more aggressive. I thought he was very passive, given that he was in the starting lineup, to be a key scorer as well as just contributing in general. So.
To your point, Jim, his defense and rebounding today was still good, even though his shot wasn't falling. So yeah, honestly, I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind it when guys come back. Pause, yeah,
I
but
mean, he
nah,
had
yeah,
one
honestly,
rebound. I don't know.
no, I'm saying just like because in rebounding, I meant to say including yesterday too, because he was really good rebounding as well yesterday.
Right. Yesterday
But
was just a
general
lot more
being,
active. Maybe, I don't know.
mhm,
Maybe the back to back got to him.
yeah,
Uh,
and Curry kind of went away from him in the second half too. So I don't think we didn't get to really see much more of him, but I think we'll see much more of him going forward though.
yeah. And again, pods, I just want to say it's there are numerous segments where I get a little frustrated with some of the things that he does, but at the end of the day, you look at the stat sheet and dude has 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 13 points. So it's good to know that they have him capable of being a starter when Steph Curry is out, because they need a capable starting point guard doing what point guards do. If he's not there, it would make this game that much harder. So. Good game for Pods, even though he shot poorly from the field.
Where do you think we finished, Jim?
What do you in terms of regular season standings or?
Yeah.
Well, if they get to 60, they should be either the best team or in the top two. That's
This
that's
is
that's where I have them.
this is this is the fourth double-digit win tonight through 5 games.
Hmm.
That means something to me. It means even more. So when I was watching the team in 22, um, you know what I was hoping for? I was just hoping for the bench to be neutral. That's it. I'm like, the bench be a neutral, and Steph Curry and the starters are just going to take you home, right? That's essentially what happened. They were, there was that yin and yang defense offense, and they just carried us home. When I look at this current team, when I look at this current team, they are not only are they winning, the bench is a positive. Steph Curry didn't play tonight. Andrew Wiggins didn't play tonight. And they're winning these games convincingly. I didn't expect them to win tonight and the other night this convincingly. When I was watching that first quarter, I was like, oh, it's a carryover. It's the same thing. It's the same carryover. And I'm just watching them. And, like when whenever Steph didn't play, I would I would be pacing. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, all right, like this game can't end soon enough. And it's like I was so relaxed tonight. We're in playback tonight. And we were joking around and all of that stuff, right? We're still watching the game, but there was just a more relaxed mood. Last season, there was no relax.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
we weren't
Even if you have an
relaxing at
18
all.
point lead, even if you have an 18-point lead, it could just be evaporated so quickly
Oh
without
my
the proper
God.
defense.
Right?
The,
Have
the
you
So
seen
Nuggets,
this season though?
the Nuggets.
Like
go ahead.
this season, like last season, we were losing the third quarter so bad, and this season, the third quarter has been a strength. Like every third quarter, we've hit it on the nail. While every third quarter last season, we were like, "Oh shit, this is gonna go bad."
Yeah. So that's another indicator. Like and then I'm looking at these other teams and I'm looking at us relative to those other teams and don't get me wrong, I'm looking at OKC and OKC's defense, they're strapping up some teams, man, big time. So now I really want to see what what we look like against these top tier teams. They're coming up. So I want to see what we look like. So Wiggins, he sat out again with a
This is
sore.
how we were beating teams in 22, by the way. We weren't beating teams by the skin of our teeth. We were beating teams like this. Just so people know.
Nah, it
Yeah,
wasn't like
Um,
this, bro. This is a different. This is something different.
it was
this
like
This
this
what we
though.
were
It was like
no,
this. They won a
not.
no
lot through defense. That's why
Hold
they
on,
went 18 and
not to
2.
this level, bro. Jim,
It wasn't this dominant.
Bro, the
it
fact
wasn't
we're
this
Oh, they
doing
were
this
dominant, bro.
without
dominant,
I mean
bro.
I mean if you're looking at like
Without
the
Steph,
margin of
we're
in
doing this
Yeah,
without the
without Steph is
fucking
different.
god.
I will say that when they had Poole, I remember they went on like a 5-game winning streak to end that season without Steph because they had Jordan Poole. It's important that they have a guy who's capable of playing the point guard
yeah,
position when Steph is out. Because over the years they haven't had a guy like that really.
yeah,
So Pods is a good replacement in that, and they had a really good game plan too. And some adjustments from last night because Ingram and Zion went crazy last night, right? So tonight it's like, okay, we're just gonna make sure Ingram sees 2 every time, and they did an amazing job just recovering. And Ingram, because they did that to Ingram, it's like he lost interest in playing. You know what I mean? Like his energy and spirit was not in this game. He's like, oh, they're just putting 2 on me every time. I can't play. So that is really bad attitude kind of thing. And then Draymond's like, okay, we shut down Ingram with 2 guys, and then Zion, I'll take care of Zion, and then boom. So that was a great game plan, and
that was
yeah.
the game plan. The game plan was to turn Ingram into a playmaker and then play Zion straight up. Um, but no, I mean, listen, in 22, what I'm saying is we were like blowing teams out. So remember that like Nets game, remember the Pelicans
yeah,
game early in the season, the Charlotte game. Like I can point to a bunch of even like the Hawks game at home. We were down and then we came back. Like there were
yeah.
so many games that year. We were just blowing teams out. Like we really didn't have many close wins. We had a few, but like most of our wins kind of, at least to start the year, were like this. And so That should tell you something. By the way, Buddy Hield is a second half merchant. This guy is one of the this guy shoots the lights out in the second half. Like in the first half, it's a little up and down, but second half of these games, bro, this dude he doesn't miss.
You
Like
know what's wild, bro?
he puts
His
games away.
energy, I
I
You
think
had
know,
a
his energy
theory, right?
translates better.
So I had a
Big picture.
theory that Buddy was going to come here and he was going to make the offense work for him. A lot of times when these guys struggle, right? Like they're trying to self-create and all of that stuff. Bro, it's like he's been playing here for 10 years, bro. Like the skill set and what we do, it's like, bro, it fits like a glove, man. It is so impressive because, bro, when I tell you that I called this one, bro, I don't take credit for a lot of shit, but I called this one, dog, because I was saying all along that one, they're just gonna put defenders around him, which they have done. Two, his skill set and the movement and the type of guys that they had. Kyle Anderson, right? Like you watch some of the passes that Kyle was making tonight. Draymond, like Pods, and you just watch how there is a relationship between connector and and spacer and shooter and movement shooter, right? And when Steph
connector
come
and finisher, right?
right,
When
so
Buddy
so
scores 20 or more points, we're 4-0.
so it's not a coincidence. How many assists did they have tonight? Like 30 what? 33?
Bro, there've been like 30 assists is like the baseline these days for
Yeah,
us. It's
bro.
like if we,
So not only did they took care of the ball pretty well. Like last night, tonight, I mean, they were kind of sloppy with it, but for the most part, they took care of the ball. And when I watch this team, and I'm like, yo, this isn't supposed to happen. And then you look at it and you watch what they're doing, bro. Like it's not like Steph is gonna come in and and subtract. Like sometimes you see superstars come, right? And then they start to play the superstar ball. No, 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 that's not gonna happen. This is Steph Curry, right? So, like it's only going to get better because you got what, 26, 27, 28 points coming back into the roster, and you got the movement stuff, and then you see the defense there. Like it's a scary proposition for other teams. I'm telling you.
Bro, we might
Urkel,
win by 40 tonight if Steph played.
yeah, Urkel, like, just going back to that 21-22 season a little bit, I had the Warriors as a championship, contender early that season as well. And uh, it's always the indicators of when they're dominating through defense and their bench is coming in and they're just running teams out of the gym. That's when I know that the Warriors have a real team, right? And I just want to read off some of and these are consecutive games, okay, from late October into November in 21-22. OKC 103-82 win. So all of these are wins, okay. Charlotte 114-92. Pelicans 126-85. Rockets 120-107. Atlanta 127-113. Minnesota 123-110. Chicago 119-93. Brooklyn 117-99. You see what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
were dominating that season when they started, and they were doing it with defense. It's the same thing that the Warriors are looking to do right now. And that's why this looks very much like, what they did that year. That's why I'm still looking at something like 16-4. Even though they're capable of possibly being better. There's a bunch of guys out right now. We have to see what happens with this. Make sure everybody's back and healthy, and then they can really go on this crazy run again. And shit, they very well may be the best team in the league.
Bro, Steph was in his gear tonight before the game. I mean, he's got to be close to returning, right?
Yeah, I prayed about that to hopefully it wasn't a grade 2 sprain, and man, very fortunate that it's minor and he'll be back soon.
Yeah, I think he's already working out again, so that's good.
Does anyone know if he warmed up tonight? Like,
Well, he had to have done. He might have done something like in the.
He had his warm ups on, so he was probably doing
Yeah,
some light work.
he was doing something. If you see in the pregame video, when they come out and it's just us,
mhm.
the tweet, You could see Steph. He was wearing his warm ups and his shoes and everything. So
Yo, it's insane. Like, and hopefully Swish will go after I say this, but um, again, I was looking every bro. They're like top. They're like top five 3-point shooting, top five like percentage wise, top five. From an assist standpoint, top. I think top seven or something along those lines in terms of rebounding, scoring, top five. Like everything is top. Defensively, top two. Like everything is at
Shooting,
least
Jim.
top five.
Shooting.
Yeah,
Shooting.
both offense and defense. This is insane. So and I'm telling you, man, we've not seen the best of this team. The starting lineup is still, we still need to figure out what the starting lineup is going to be to completely optimize what this roster is going to be, what this, team's going to look like from an ideal standpoint of, okay, five set of starters that are going to be, excellent, every single night. And then obviously we know what the bench is going to do. So as long as those two things connect, which it hasn't yet, think about that. Think about another level to get to for this team.
Yo, Swish,
Hey, what's going on, Urkel?
what's going on, man? You know, I'm gonna turn to you right now because you are probably, you know, I watch like other stuff on YouTube and all of that, and you are probably one of the people that I've watched that's pretty much had it spot on. Like out of like all of the YouTubers that make warrior content, I watch your stuff all the time. I watch a lot of people, but your take specifically before the season, like I was watching your stuff like probably a few weeks ago, and you had
Mhm.
it dead on, bro. So I got to give you your flowers, dog. Like you had that shit so spot on, right? And I've been saying this
Yeah.
shit since the summer, but in terms of like people who make YouTube stuff, man,
Yeah.
you were spot on with the shit, bro. Like you hit the nail on the head, bro.
Man, I appreciate that for sure. Um, yeah, what I realize is a lot of the other content creators, I don't really watch what other content creators put out because I try to not have my stuff get influenced by what other people are doing.
I'm the same way,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I find that I really can't even do it. But I do get comments that refer to some other channels at times, so I kind of have some idea of the type of stuff they're putting out. I mean, I get like some of the creators literally they will steal all my information, my titles. I literally had to have this one channel, I had to do a takedown because he literally just took my entire video and just chopped it up and whatnot and used everything. It was insane.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of copycats out there with my stuff because, I think people see the takes that I have and they resonate with it. And I think as Warriors fans, if you're paying attention and you're in, you're on the in, then you kind of understand and it makes sense to you. And I think a lot of people try to take advantage of that. They try to take stuff and run with it when they don't really watch the games or the team like that or understand the nuances, the coaching style, the staff changes, the players, their development stages, what they've been going through, where they're projected to get to. Um, a lot of different small details. And so they don't know a lot of that. So they can't really put out that type of content. So, I definitely pay very, very close attention to what they've been doing. It's a very smart front office that we have, that the Warriors have. And so, I look to try to understand their reasoning for making the decisions they do on the players that they sign. And these are when I saw them, make those pickups. Like I made that video on Kyle Anderson, for example, and I said this is one of the most, this is a very underrated pickup by the Warriors, and they got him for absolutely cheap. I saw how he impacted the game when he was in that series with um, the when he played against, who was it again? I think it was the Mavericks. It must have been. And
Yeah.
but I've been watching Anderson from way before when he was on the Grizzlies. And I there was something I noticed about that team. All right. It was the same time D'Anthony Melton was on that team as well, because both him and Kyle Anderson were teammates. And I saw these guys playing a certain type of way. And I thought to myself, man, if these guys were like the bench unit on the Warriors. When they got let go from the Grizzlies, I'm like, what the hell did they do? Like, why would they get rid of those guys? Now, some people might think, it's bench players. We got John Morant, Desmond Bain, and whatnot. But you need to have that depth, and I think a lot of teams are overplaying the top-heavy um, team type today because you go out there. The Pelicans had their two best players, right? And you think all you need is a couple of superstars, and then you just throw a bunch of guys, role players around them, and you're good to go. All right, that's been like the mantra for however many decades. But what you're realizing is, especially when you're into a timeline of maybe positionless, semi-positionless basketball, where you guys can float in between positions. And the Warriors were kind of forced to do that, right? Because when they selected Draymond Green, he's a tweener. He wasn't really, size for a power forward, but he wasn't exactly a guard. And so when you have tweeners and you have these types of players who, don't exactly fit one mold, but they have enough talent to do something else. And when you get a match or a mix of these players that you can fit together around each other where you don't have too much overlap and you have just enough to kind of like back up to back up each other,
Yeah.
concoct like what I think is just this incredible formula. And I think the Warriors did this, combined it. They had the motion, with Steve's motion offense. And if you do that and you have, you play through your defense, right? You don't want to start with offense. You want to play through your defense. And I think when guys buy in defensively, that's when you're at the championship tier. All right, because guys aren't just going to buy in defensively. Who's going to play defense on a team that's getting, with a shooting tour date records for the, close to the end of the season? You're not going to find guys buying in like that. All right. You might have a couple who are looking for something, guys looking to get a contract or something like that. But you're not going to find, guys that are permanent fixtures within the team structure looking to, buy in defensively. So when you see guys like this, Draymond playing the way he's playing right now, um, Andrew Wiggins playing the way he's been playing, Jonathan Kuminga, who was playing very well defensively. I was actually kind of blown away by some of the stuff that I saw him doing on that end of the floor. And to me, that extra effort that he was putting out, even attempting to rebound, even if he wasn't getting as many rebounds as he could, um, that effort, all right, that's what I saw. I've always seen this in those championship teams. So we're looking at OKC, we're looking at Boston. I'm not even sure if Denver's really in it right now.
They're
Um,
not. They're not. They are
yeah,
not.
so yeah, and those two teams specifically, right? And I think those are two of the teams that have the structure to really win at the next level because those players have really bought into the team culture and what they're building. And I think the Warriors have all bought in. And once you have that, you get this type of swarming defense that they've played. They did this in 2022. The gang rebounding. You saw guys like Otto Porter Jr., right? He came in, he bought in, and you see those guys. It's almost like they elevate, they get to another level, and that is what I'm seeing here with Golden State. And so when I was telling people, hey, this is a really freaking good team. Like these guys, this is not a joke. Like this is not a drill. They don't have a superstar, but the depth that they do have, if they utilize it properly, these guys can do some major damage. I got called all sorts of stuff on my channel. Like people have been saying all kinds of things, and after a certain amount of time, you get used to it, whatnot, and it becomes kind of funny. You think, a lot of people are just looking for attention when they see that stuff too. But you know, a lot of people can't really see that. They don't seem to get that. So I'll try to go through my videos and I'll try to explain the concepts, what the coaches are trying to do, the input of Terry Stotts, how it melds with Steve Kerr's motion offense, and how, Stackhouse, Jay Stackhouse, and what he's been bringing, how he's been able to, get these guys to buy in, not just on his own, because when you think about it, he hasn't really um, coach. He was coming from the G League, right?
Yeah.
Coaching the Raptors 905 and such. And so for him to come in, be able to garner that respect. And I think being a defensive coach, maybe it's a little bit easier to garner some respect, especially when you have a team that is led by Draymond Green. So I think those guys, I could just imagine what these guys are discussing in the back rooms, defensively, defensive, what you call it, maneuvers, and how are we going to approach defending each of these teams? And Dre hit on it earlier when they're gonna play Zion straight up, but they're going to try to make Ingram become more of a facilitator. We know Ingram is dangerous in that mid range, and so we put guys. We had Kaminga put on him. I know probably would have had Wiggins on him if Wiggins was healthy, but he is like that primary creator for that team. And for them to be able to lock Ingram, because they had 31. It's funny because the first game they had 31 and 30, right? Zion and Ingram had 31 and 30. Like great scores for those guys, right? It's nice. It looks good. But then you look at the bench, right? No other player on that team had over 9 points. No one had double figures on aside from Ingram and Zion. So the Warriors were able, Zion and Ingram, they can get their stuff. They're very good offensive players. But if you can't get anything out of the rest of your players, you're not going to win. All right, and so the Warriors were able to hold those guys, the other players, defensively and keep them to a limit. And I think you know that whole concept of that defense and buying in plays into what they do. They swarm on defense, and then it plays into their offense. And I think that kind of that is the same recipe that the Warriors have used to win championships. And I honestly, between it's the only teams I see that are really going to be tough for Golden State is going to be OKC and Boston because as Urkel mentioned it earlier, you said Boston was a more talented team than the Warriors back in 2022. They literally were built to beat the Warriors, and they didn't. And
Hey,
so,
Swish.
yeah.
Swish. So I threw something up in the Jumbotron from Slater, right? So
Yeah.
Slater says that Draymond details Jerry Stackhouse's impact as a defensive coordinator, mentions the level of accountability and Stackhouse's grading system that has players upping their competitive level. Okay.
Oh
Uh
man.
bro, let me tell you something.
Stackhouse is
Stackhouse.
generational.
What? Oh,
Jim,
Yeah,
remember when you said defensive coach?
yeah,
That is what you're talking about.
exactly. I was asking for it in the middle of last season. This is what this team can look like when your defense is actually properly organized. They didn't have that. Kenny Atkinson was not real. So not only to bring Stackhouse, but and by the way, gives Stats some credit as well because he also brought not only his offense but also defensive concepts. Stackhouse is just going over the details and nuances to make sure that the players are executing it properly. You know what I mean? So this is such a see. I have great confidence. I have way more confidence in Steve Kerr when he has great minds next to him that can guide him when things aren't going right. So yes.
Yeah. And
yeah.
so
I actually. Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
I
just
mean,
Go
gonna
ahead, Abney. Go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead, Abney.
okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's actually why I came on stage. I just got done watching Draymond's press conference, and I came because of all that he said about Jerry Stackhouse and his accountability. First off, it seems like he and Stackhouse have forged a really good relationship. It seems as if when Stackhouse first came in, he told Draymond, I know you have a very high IQ, when it comes to the defensive end. I don't want to take your fire and your know-all away from you, but there's a few things that we're going to do a bit differently, or some things that I just want to add to. And Draymond seemed, well, for one, not only receptive, but he had a high respect for it. And Draymond even said in the presser, he said, everybody in the NBA knows when it comes to defense, we're all running the same stuff. But Stackhouse, he's come in and he's saying, I know you're used to doing it like this, but I want to see you do it this way. And then Draymond said that even when he thinks he's doing something right, Stackhouse will go at him and say, "No, you're not supposed to be there. I need you to be here, or you're over helping, or you're doing this." And Stackhouse, when they say a grading system, after games and practices, he's giving them marks, and every time that he said all the players are checking in to see what their defensive grade is. So it's a really like distinct system that they have going on.
Oh Lord.
Mike Brown, by the way, to that point, Mike Brown did something very similar.
Very similar,
He's a
right? So
great coach.
Dre,
Yeah.
Dre,
hmm
that's exactly why I highlighted that
hmm
because Mike Brown was saying the same thing in
hmm
22, right? So you see, bro, in
It's a pride
23,
thing. It's a pride thing, right?
in
Because you're.
23, when I
Mhm.
wasn't hearing that stuff, bro, I started
Yep.
to become concerned. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, Irk, we got
hmm
Buddy Healed ripping Zion, bro.
Did you see that?
Bro,
But so when you
everybody's
see
playing
stuff,
defense.
yeah, when you see stuff like that, it's like, well, of course, if they're being held to a very high defensive standard, and they're checking, they're literally everything after everything they're due. All the players are going to see what their defensive grade is, and supposedly Stackhouse is very strict when it comes to it, and he'll give you a low mark for maybe the smallest thing that you might not think is a big deal, but to him, it's like, no, you messed up.
Let
Yeah,
me
that's
tell
what
you
needs to
this.
happen. You have to speak the truth on what is going wrong in order to correct it. I just don't understand how they went away from these concepts in the first place. You know, how they thought that it was fine the last couple of years without a legitimate, defensive coach. You know, Ebony, you brought up, Urkel, sorry to call you off there, but you brought up, over helping. You remember that? Like everything was just over help. You know, they had defensive concepts, but the way they executed it was disgusting. That's why
Yeah.
everybody's just being left wide open, hitting, wide open threes left and right, and people are like, "Oh, this is just a coincidence. Oh, they're just on fire. They just happen to be on fire." No, you're playing shitty defense, so all the
Right.
teams, whether good or bad, are going off, and that's what
And
happened.
Yeah.
And now we don't have to deal with that
Jim,
anymore.
Jim, do you remember? Was it we won this game? But I don't know if it was game 2 or 3. Or well, was game 3? That was the Clippers, so it wasn't that game. It was game 2, and I think they opened up with the, or maybe it was game 1. I can't remember, but they opened up. It was a terrible defensive quarter, and I remember bringing up in a playback. I said they're over helping too much, and I think Stackhouse laid into them for that. Even though that they were winning the game, he wasn't having it. Oh, and one more thing Draymond said. He said that Stackhouse, he says absolutely nothing about the offense. He only focuses on the defense.
Yeah. So all summer when we were telling the community that, hey, by the way, they're going to lean defense. This is what I'm talking about. I don't think everyone in the see, and the problem is that we're in a very offensive era, and everyone focuses on offense, offense, offense. Listen, I was watching some of the worst teams last year, or really the last 2 years, be some of the best offensive teams ever, and it's not offense that's going to be the deciding factor, right? Like if you look at the correlation between the contenders, every single one of them are a top 10 defensive team, right? So, when I hear like, and the other thing too, when you hear them talking about grading system, defense, focus, um, you know, laying into guys, you know what they're thinking, right? Like they, and it's funny because I heard, some people on the TL talking about they don't really believe this, that, and the other. Let me tell you something. For this team to be locked into defense like that, there is no way they don't have a championship mindset. This isn't a year where they're going to be like, you know what, like we're just going to see where it lies and get to the trick. No, they think they can win right now. They think they can win right now. This isn't a thing where they're like, you know what? No, no, no. They think the coaching staff and the players think they can win right now. I'm telling you. So
Bro, Dre's saying he wants to win Defensive Player of the Year. When's the last time he said that?
let me tell you this, Prime. I don't see how if they end up with like say like a top three defense, I don't see how he doesn't win. And the only reason why he didn't win in 22 is because he has the back he had a back injury and he was gone for 2 months. If if he didn't have that back injury, he would have won that going away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.